Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am your host, June Archer. This is the Winner Circle. June Archer here. And I got to say, these two brothers doing some amazing things. Super proud of them. We were just talking backstage about all the things that they're doing for the culture and for those who are really trying to be financially literate, financially savvy, financially sound. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rashad, Bilal, Troy Billings, the co-CEOs, founders of Earn Your Leisure. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Thank you.
Doing
Thank you for
great,
having
man.
us. A pleasure.
Bless,
Thank you.
bless, man.
Listen, I want to start from the top, man. I know you guys have been doing interview after interview, um, but I want to talk about your humble beginnings because a lot of people, uh, Rashad and Troy, like to have dreams and aspirations, right? And when they say, I want to do exactly what you're doing, I always refer to Jay-Z saying, okay, so before you get to 444, you got to go all the way back to reasonable doubt. So I want to talk about for you, Troy, you were in the public school system.
Yeah,
Um, please just share a little bit of why you were inspired from that moment.
yeah. I started, I went to school actually to be a physical therapist, and realized that I didn't like science, but I had a natural gift for working with kids, and I love sports. And so I was like, what can I combine to do both? And so phys ed became my lane. I was like, oh yeah, I could teach about athletics. That'd be great. I could be an athletic director one day. I could stay around sports. It'd be perfect. And then they put me in a health classroom, and I had to be, teaching and writing lesson plans. And I'm like, man, I really never wanted to be a classroom teacher, but I'm glad I was, because I got to see what it felt like to be in front of a classroom when 30 kids are relying on every word you say, when you have to prepare and have to grade. It was a whole process that I wasn't ready for, but I actually was just thrown into. And so being in the public school system, I was like, yeah, man, this is cool. And I'm like, I'm not sure if they're learning enough. I'm not sure if we're preparing them to be productive people outside of these four walls, right? With the core subjects are cool, but what happens when money comes in contact with their lives? Like, are we teaching them about that? Are we teaching them how to have conflict resolution? All these things that weren't being taught. And so I had the opportunity while I was teaching. We had the summers off. I got the opportunity to create a program in our community here in Westchester, in a town called Greenburgh, where we're from. And I was like, look, I'm going to treat these 6 weeks of the summer like the 10 months of school that they didn't get. So I wanted to cover everything that I know they were missing. And one of those key components was financial literacy. And I was like, all right, yeah, this is going to be cool. Because at the end of the program that we were doing, these kids were going to get paid $500. So they had an opportunity to make money for the first time in their lives. And you know what happens if we don't know what to do with money? We do what we know. Let's just spend it. So I was like, all right, well, let's teach them how to save, invest, spend and share. And at the time, Rashad was starting his financial advising career. We best friends, we known each other since we were like preteen. I wouldn't even say teenagers, preteen. And I was like, all right, man, you're starting your financial advising career. Why don't you come in and teach financial literacy? I got these kids. It'd be perfect. Like, I'll write the lesson plans. You be the face of it. And so we kind of went that route. And as he was teaching the lessons, I was like, wait, I kind of didn't know that about finance, right? Like, my background's in education. We didn't have these conversations when I was growing up with my parents. And so I started learning from him. He started learning from me. And we kind of had this nice rhythm when we were doing the financial literacy thing. And he had this, great idea to say, look, man, he was big into social media. He's like, we should record this. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's just teach, man. I'm really focused on these 30 kids. He's like, no, we need to share this. Like, let's record these lessons. And, he took that, started putting it on social media, and it caught wildfire.
And you guys became for what I think is a really dope term, regardless of where he is now. But y'all became the Shaq and Kobe of this whole financial literacy, movement. And for you, Rashad, man, you were in the financial world. And why was it important for you, from your perspective, to put together that combination, finance and education, as it was never seen in our school systems?
Yeah, I mean, because I was a financial advisor, and working as a financial advisor, like with life insurance, helping people with life insurance and college savings plans and investing, and I always knew that I could have a bigger reach and a bigger impact than just working with 100 clients or doing seminars for 20 people. Like, that was cool, but nobody in my industry was doing that, because at that time it was just but it was so regulated, and that's not really the business model of being a financial advisor. It's just like, you get your clients, you get referrals, and that's it. Like, but I'm like, I felt like it could become bigger than just that, than just working in the office. Like I felt like, it could reach, millions of people all over the world. So, I felt social media was the best avenue to actually get that message out there. So that was something that, mixing the media. I don't tell this story a lot, but media for us, for me, was way before Earn Your Leisure. I used to have a public access show. And you talking about like what Jay-Z has said, like when I was doing the public access show, like it was kind of like a lot of people didn't understand it because they're like, why would you do a public access show? Like that's stupid. Like nobody watches public access. But for me, it wasn't really about like, the public access show aspect of it. It was a great way to build relationships because I was bringing people on from like local accountants, local real estate developers. They didn't care it was public access. It was just a TV show. And they just wanted to just tell their story. Nobody else had ever asked them about it. So it was a great way for me to build relationships. But it was also a great way for me to actually learn how to interview and be in front of a camera because I didn't go to school for that. I never, I wasn't a journalist. So, having a public access show actually prepared me to, do what we do now because that was my first opportunity to actually, interview people, be in front of a camera, have a show, promote the show, different things of that nature. So I treated the public access show the same way how I treat, what we do now. Like, I was promoting it on social media. I was, enthusiastic about it. It was dope to me. I never looked at it like a public access show. I just looked at it like a TV show. So, we just move one brick at a time. But I just knew early on that there was millions of people that needed to be helped, that needed to be reached, and online was probably the best way to go about it. And then the way that we were delivering the information, the way that we still do deliver the information was completely different, as far as using hip hop, using sports, the way we dress, the way we talk. So that just changed the game too, because a lot of people, especially in our community, they're not listening to Bloomberg. They're not watching CNBC every single day. So they for a long time people thought that it was just above their head, or just they just kind of didn't even think about stocks or didn't even think about real estate because they're like, that's for somebody else. Like I'm just going to focus on my day to day. And, but now when they see people that look just like them talking about stocks, there's no excuse for you not to do it. There's no excuse for you not to be educated on cryptocurrency or be an entrepreneur. Like when you can see somebody that you can really relate to doing it, it not only gives you hope and inspiration, but it knocks down that excuse of this is over my head. I didn't go to college for this. I didn't, my family wasn't in business. So all of those things were things that I saw early on. I saw all of that early on. I saw the power of the internet early on, and that was a driving force into going online and really spreading the message of financial literacy.
Well, you guys have found a way to package it in a way that puts sugar in the medicine, if you will. You've branded it in a way that, as we're reimagining education, right? Our young people, I have the Junior Archer School of Arts, and we're teaching kids about music and how to make music profitable for them. When you start to give them the combinations, right? And you say, oh, well, if you like music and you like numbers, you could be an accountant. If you like music and you like logistics, you could be a manager. Do you find that we don't have enough? You mentioned it a touch, Troy. So I'm gonna go to you. That we're not giving our young people the reimagined version of education, and that's probably why they're not interested in the end result. Like, man, I don't see what math is going to do for me later on in life because I don't understand. I don't equate it to anything. Like,
Mhm.
how do we give these young people the combinations to want to fall in love with? No one really like. It's not a lot of people that like numbers, right? But a lot of people love the bottom line. But how do we get our young people to fall in love with numbers because they're already behind in STEM, right? And now finances, like we're not teaching these things in our homes. Sometimes it would be that cloud of, well, don't speak about how much you make or how much money you made doing this, or what can we do, gentlemen, to get rid of that stigma and that mentality?
I mean, it starts. I mean, I'll use Jay because that was the first, person that when I was thinking about financial literacy, I used his line to write my first lesson in '96, and when he said all black sky is sports and entertainment, and it stuck with me, and I sat with that for a while. I'm like, was he right? And so I created a lesson around that, like trying to debunk him. Right? I showed kids 10 people that I knew they would know. They all came from sports and entertainment. It was Floyd Mayweather, Dr. Dre, Puff, Beyonce, Jay. and Oprah, and they recognized every person on the page. And then I gave them another page, and they didn't recognize anybody. And they were the wealthiest black people on the planet. Aliko Dangote being number one at the time. He's worth $21 billion. They had never heard of him, and I was like, that's it right there, right? And in order for us to aspire to be something, we got to see it. And so when we were doing the program, that was the point of it. It was like, I want to show you so many different avenues that you can be successful in. You just got to pick, rather than just saying like, if I'm not an entertainer, my life's not successful. If I'm not an athlete, my life's not successful. There's plenty of careers inside of those businesses that you can be successful in, but we've never seen it. And so before our platform, it would have been tough for somebody to say, all right, well, look, there goes that real estate mortgage person that, I can look up to. But now people can do that, right? Because those careers are going to last a lot longer than a lot more most athletes. And so we just got to keep highlighting these people and showing them the entrepreneur who creates his own restaurant and has successful restaurants. Oh, I can do that. And so that was the key, right? Once we start showing people that they could be successful in so many different avenues, and I think that's kind of one of the niche things that we've done. We became a gumbo soup for information, but we also became a gumbo soup for so many different things that you can aspire to be. And so when that becomes contagious, right? Because now I can be celebrated for being something outside of the athletic field or entertainment, right? Like my accountant can now be somebody. Our CPA becomes a celebrity,
Right,
right? So like
right.
they're now the celebrities. And so now when kids see that, it's like, wait, I can do that? Yeah. Well, I just saw this young lady from Brooklyn who's their CPA. I could be her. Yeah, and you can, right? The chances are, can you be Troy and Rashad? Yeah, I mean, if you have the dedication and you have a unique value add to the world, yeah, of course. And that's our thing. It was like we come from humble beginnings, but we made something because we knew the value that we can add. And so if kids look at that, they can aspire to be it. It's like, all right, well, there's a chance, right? Like I might not be able to shoot from three, or I might not be able to tackle, but I have values that I can add to the world in this work, in this asset. Maybe it's in the tech field, or maybe it's in finance. But celebrating those people to say, all right, look, that person is just as important, right? If not even more so important, because they can help you in your future and create a legacy that lasts forever. So that was the key for us.
I love it. For you, Rashad, for those who are watching and listening, what is the best financial hack that you could share that could better someone's credit score in 30 days or less?
In 30 days, I would say, I mean, that's kind of a short period of time. Usually it might take a little bit more time, but I'll just give a general hack to just increase your credit score, period. Um, and this is something that it might not be as sexy as listeners want to hear, but like I said, sometimes, you need to just hear the hard truths of it,
Right.
is to only use credit when you need it, and to pay off your bills every single month. You can look at balance transfers, but you have to be extremely careful with balance transfers, because it's like, a lot of credit cards will have balance transfer programs where you can transfer one credit card to another credit card, and they'll give you like 0% interest for like 12 months, 18 months. And that's great. But the thing about it is that if you don't pay it off in that 12 or 18-month time frame, then that interest rate goes crazy. It's like 30%. And
Yeah, they
like
beat you in the head at that point.
retroactive. So that, I mean, it's extremely beneficial because it allows you to get from under the rock. Like if you have like, a credit card and you're paying 25% interest every single month, like that's kind of hard to get from under, especially if you're just making minimum payments. So if you have an opportunity where you can do a balance transfer and 0% for 12, 18 months, that gives you a lot more breathing room. But if you are going to do that, it's important to be disciplined enough to pay over and above what you're just supposed to pay, the minimum. Like try to pay as much as possible every single month, so when you get to the end of that balance transfer, it's paid off. But I mean, just credit in general, it's important to understand that there's no credit jail. So even if you have the worst credit in the world, it still can be rebuilt. It might take time. It might take years. It might not take 30 days. It might take years. But ultimately, we're in it for the long haul, right?
Right.
So it's like, do the right thing. Don't just forget about it. Don't act like it never existed. Call the credit card companies, work out a payment plan, look into the balance transfer. Pay as much as you possibly can. Try to keep low balances. Use credit cards, but use them responsibly. So like use them for things that you absolutely need to use them for, like gas or, different things of that nature, where you can pay it off. Don't use it for things that you don't need it for and that you can't pay it off, like going on vacation. If you don't have enough money, it shouldn't be a credit card as an alternative, because that's actually going to cost you more money in the long term. So a lot of it just comes down to just being more responsible and to have more financial literacy, right? And understanding that, you just can't run away from it. Like, it's not like if you just stop answering phone calls, it's going to just go away.
Right.
So, these are all things that we just have to just get more comfortable with.
Black caller.
I love it. We're here to talk about Invest Fest 2022. Some amazing names on this bill: Angela Yee, Ash Cash, DJ Envy, my brother, my big brother Kenny Burns, who I've known my entire music career, Steve Harvey, and of course the amazing Tyler Perry. What can people expect from Invest Fest 2022?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be crazy, man. All those people, and then you add Don Peebles, who's a billionaire real estate developer, black billionaire real estate developer. You got Dan Cathy, who's the CEO of Chick-fil-A. He's a billionaire. You got Wall Street Trapper. You got Ian Dunlap. You got Rick Ross. You got T.I. Dame Dash. So what we did with this was take like the festival type of vibe, like Rolling Loud or Coachella, but instead of music, we replaced it with business. But we still have those type of festival feel to it. So we have food trucks, we have some games, we have a vendor marketplace, we have a VIP night experience, we have musical performances, but in that, there's panels on cryptocurrency, panels on business, panels on credit, panels on student loans, keynote addresses and fireside chats and live podcasts. So it's about making it fun, right? Like, that's why I think we really mastered as far as the edutainment. We're mixing education with entertainment and making it just a vibe. And that's what we do with all our events. So InvestFest is the biggest event that we have. 10,000 people will be there this year. And it will be in Atlanta, Georgia from August 5th through the 7th. So, to have the opportunity to have Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry and different things of that nature, like just and to be in the room, I think is magical for anybody that's attending, because of the motivation and the inspiration is different from watching it on YouTube or listening to it on a podcast. Actually be in the room is crazy. But to also having a networking opportunity, that's one of the key things. People saying like, I live here and nobody is on my type of time. Nobody is interested in what I'm interested in. Well, now you're going to be in a room with 10,000 people that's all like-minded, that's all business-minded, that's all looking to get to the next level. And some people are already at the next level, right? So it's like now you have an opportunity to network, and who knows, you might meet your next real estate partner, you might meet your next, business partner, you might meet the person that you need to take you to the next level. You might meet the person that has the plug for distribution of merch that you've been trying to find for a long time. So, I feel like it's an amazing opportunity for people to actually be in a room with 10,000 people and to be in a room with some of the most successful people in the world, not just our culture in the world. You look at somebody like Tyler Perry, 330 acres, his studio is, you can fit all the major Hollywood studios in his studio.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
so
beautiful.
it's not like he's just a big person in our culture. He's a big person in the world. So, I feel like, we've done a great job. It's only year 2, but, I'm extremely excited. And I feel that anybody that comes to Invest Fest is definitely gonna get, what they expect and even more. We got surprises that we didn't announce yet. And I just feel like, it's just a tremendous opportunity just to be in the presence of that many people. I don't see how you don't gain value. I don't see how you don't gain wisdom. I don't see how you don't better your life.
I don't see it. I'm hoping that big announcement is me and 50.
Stay tuned, alert.
Stay tuned. Let me ask y'all, man. You guys have been doing your thing on the podcast side of things. Who has been your favorite guest on EYL so far?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of celebrity guests. So obviously, I mean, Steve Harvey, it comes to the top of mind. Obviously, that episode really transcended a business relationship that we have with him now. He's actually our partner in InvestFest. Rick Ross was an incredible guest as well. But some of the local entrepreneurs that people hadn't heard about, I love those type of stories, because had they not come on the platform, we wouldn't have known about their greatness. So when you think of guys like Wall Street Trapper, Ian Dunlap, even Derek Falcon, who was a restaurateur out of Baltimore, when he shared his story about his business and gave a blueprint, I think it's an echo.
Can you hear echo on our end?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
When he shared a blueprint on his business, it really had us taken aback. Like, wait, this needs to be how the show needs to be formatted going forward. He was just super transparent, and we had never heard anyone speak like that. And so, we were gracious enough to have him, but, he really helped us as well. And so guests like that are always, come to mind. MG, the mortgage guy, obviously another one of our business partners, the way he talked about real estate. And you think back 5 years ago, when would a real estate broker become a sort of a celebrity in social media? Like, this didn't happen.
Right.
But that's true today. And so when you see things like that, like these people who are experts in their profession being highlighted and being celebrated and being treated like a celebrity, it's just an amazing time, man.
No, I love it. I want to ask y'all this, because everyone will look at what you both are doing right now and say, "Oh well, Rashad and Troy, they got it now. Like they get in the bag. They have these courses. They have the school. They doing what they're doing." But everyone has a story. Everyone has trials and tribulations. Everybody has a testimony. What's the best piece of advice that you've been given to overcome obstacles that you've seen to allow you to kind of keep your eye on the prize? Troy, I'll start with you first.
Keep going is the best thing. And this is something that I say when I'm working out. Like, the glory's on the other side. Right, you're going to be tested, you're going to be tried, but that's because you were supposed to, right? Like, you got to walk in those footsteps that have been left for you, and that's part of it. I think I'll use Jay again. He said, "You want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans." Right. So our thing is just to walk in our footsteps, walk in our purpose, and deliver at a high level. So anytime there's an obstacle, I know it's a test, but I know that it was meant for me to go through it. And so keep going. Is probably the number one thing. Like, the glory is always on the other side. We had a young man calling the other night, and he was like, he had gone through some obstacles, and he was like, "I know the tunnel is dark, but just know that there's light." Right.
Yeah.
Right. The sun is brightest right after midnight, or after the brightest at dawn. So it's like, tough times make tough people. And I mean, we're living testament of that. We've been through things, but you know what? We show up every day and we understand the purpose of what we need to do, and it's bigger than us. So yeah, showing up and walking in purpose is one of those things that we always remind ourselves when obstacles are confronted.
Yeah, but showing up is half the battle. Rashad, for you, best piece of advice you've been given.
I mean, just to stay even keel. And I learned that just playing sports. Like, you never get too high, never get too low. There's ups and downs in the game. There's ups and downs in every game. But I feel like, you can't, you're going on an emotional roller coaster if you just go crazy every time you have a win, and then you just super depressed every time you have a loss. Just got to stay even keel. And that, I think, will carry you through good times and bad times. Like, just keeping perspective and realizing that it can always be better and it could always be worse. That's something I always think about. Like, no matter how bad it is, it could always be worse, and it can always be better. So you can never get too satisfied. You can never get too full of yourself, because ultimately, it's always the next level. So you got to stay hungry. But just staying even keel and keeping that perspective, I think, is very important.
A man of my own words. I've been playing this game, University of Dope. I played it with everybody from Method Man to Red Man to Kelly Price, and the list goes on and on. So I got to test y'all and the love that y'all have for hip hop. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to play the Earn Your Leisure version of University of Dope with Rashad and Troy. So the first one, gentlemen,
Let's do it.
here it is. If someone wanted to experience hip hop for the first time, what album would you give them? A Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest. B, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan. C, Straight Outta Compton, NWA. Or D, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim.
Is there a wrong answer here?
Yeah, I think those are all classics.
Yeah,
I mean,
how old is the person?
For me, my personal experience, because I can only grow off the era that I grew up on. I didn't grow up on Tribe Called Quest. I didn't grow up on NWA, and I didn't grow up on Eric B. and Rakim. But I respect all of them. But I did grow up on Wu-Tang Clan, and I just remember when Wu-Tang Clan first came out, and I remember that video, Protect Your Neck, and I remember when Ghostface Killer didn't show his face for the first 6 videos. Nobody saw his face. Like, it was a mystery what he looked like. So that impact of the Wu and Cream. I remember when Cream, the first time hearing Cream, like, it was just different, man. So I think Wu-Tang Clan, in my opinion, is the best group of all time because they're so eclectic. Like, you got Ghost and Ray, who's like super fly fashion, and then you got ODB, who's ultimate gritty, grimy dude. Then you got people like,
FMF.
well, I'm getting there, but you got like the Jizza and Master Killer, who, they like scientists, like, studying the stars and the moon. And you got the RZA, who put it all together. You got Method Man, who was the superstar of the whole situation. So I just feel like there's never been a group that diverse And I feel like if you want to listen to hip hop, you can get something. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, every element of hip hop
Right.
is in Wu-Tang Clan. So if you study Wu-Tang Clan, you'll have a full appreciation of every single aspect of hip hop.
I'm gonna go with out of the four that you had. I'm gonna go if somebody's listening to hip hop, they want to know what hip hop is
For the first
for
time.
the first time. They gotta listen to Eric B and Rakim.
All right. I like how y'all broke that down. Y'all breaking it
Yeah.
down like
Yeah.
we on see
Now this is
ESPN.
what we do. This is actually what we really do. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Eric B for President is probably one of the best records that's ever been made. I'm an '80s baby, so I remember Eric B for President is the first record I ever scratched. So I was born in the South Bronx. So if anybody's
All right.
listening, for years I used to say KRS-One was the greatest rapper of all time, even though Rakim was back and forth. But that record, it's just it's amazing. It captures everything, even the album cover with them with the Dapper Dan outfits on with the big rope chains, like if you're talking about hip hop and its origin, like he encompassed that with the fade, with the part, the 4-finger rings, the Jordans on,
Whole
like
swag.
the Benz. I mean, if you look at the back cover, you got the Benz on there. I mean, Eric B and Rakim, Eric B for President, which is crazy because Rakim is spitting on the. I'm used to think like I thought Eric B was a dude rapping. That when I was younger.
Right.
I'm like, wait, hold on, Rakim was a guy rapping, but the song is Eric B for President. But that was if I'm corrected, 1986 that dropped.
Yeah.
So I was like 4 years old. I remember my brothers was in the hallway in Soundview, and they closed the door, and the record was playing, and I was like, let me just see, like they were like, yo, what happened? I'm like, nah, I bumped into it. So that's one of them records for me for sure.
I like how y'all breaking this down like my brother Nate Burleson. I love this. I love this. All right. So we're going to spitfire this round because I know we ain't got a lot of time. So here we go. The best Jay-Z album is A, Reasonable Doubt, B, The Blueprint, C, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, or D, 444.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. I want to see what y'all made of. Let's go.
You going first?
Yeah, and I'll give a quick. I know we got to go, but I'm gonna go with an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna say Volume 2 because that changed his life. That changed the trajectory of everything. That's when he sold 5 million records, and that's when he became a global superstar. And that's when I was in middle school, and that's all we was listening to. So I'm gonna go with Volume 2.
Okay. I'm gonna go from an Earn Your Leisure standpoint. I think 444 might be the most important album for us, just because the content on 444. It was the first time we got to see him grow.
Right.
We hadn't seen him talk at that level for years, and it's something that people had waited on. We saw Nas do it with Life Is Good, and Jay kind of did it, obviously after Lemonade with 444. But that record, when he's talking about financial literacy and the way he's talking about it, was just super important. So that came out in 2017. Obviously, Earn Your Leisure happens in 2019. That album definitely played a part in our success. But I think his best album is Reasonable Doubt.
All right. Unpopular opinions are welcome.
Yeah.
If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? A, LL Cool J, B, Rakim, C, KRS-One, or D, Big Daddy Kane?
I think Rakim is the best lyricist out of that group. So I don't think that you can't go against the God.
The God. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you where we was born. So if I say anything other than KRS-One, I'd be lying to you. KRS-One forever. South Bronx.
The best film with a rapper in it, is it A, Belly, B, Paid in Full, C, Boys in the Hood, or D, Set It Off?
This is also a very good question. And it definitely is between B and C, but I'm gonna go with an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna go with Paid in Full, man. Paid in Full, probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Cameron. I actually just posted a picture of Rich Porter today. Ironically enough. So I'm gonna go with Paid in Full, man. That was legendary.
I'm definitely going Boys in the Hood. I think Ice Cube's performance is incredible. Cuba Gooding was incredible. Morris Chestnut was incredible. Nia Long was incredible. And if you go back and watch what Lawrence Fishburne, he's talking about real estate in South Central in the film. So there's financial literacy in there. So I'm going Boys in the Hood.
Gentrification.
Yep. Right. They die every day, B. Best hip hop soundtrack from the following: is it A, Friday, B, Above the Rim, C, 8 Mile, or D, Juice?
I'm gonna go see. Like, I really studied hip hop. I studied like this is something that we were studying rap before we did finance.
Who
So
you got? Who you got?
these answers. That's why
Talk
I just
that
can't.
talk, Rashad. Talk that
Who you
talk.
got? Who
I
you
can't
got?
just give you a regular answer. I gotta unpack it. I'm gonna go with Above the Rim. Now, Above the Rim is interesting because Above the Rim is one of the first movie soundtracks, if I'm not mistaken, where a record label was responsible for the whole entire
That
soundtrack.
is true.
Absolutely.
Which is extremely interesting because Above the Rim is a New York staple about New York street basketball. Tupac is in it, which is interesting because Tupac became New York's biggest rival. And what's even more interesting is that Death Row did the soundtrack. So Death Row did the soundtrack to one of New York's biggest movies. Not a lot of people are aware of that. Lady of Rage, I go rough and tough in my Afro puff.
Yep.
Got the Dog Pound on there. So that is just an interesting dynamic within itself that Death Row does one of New York's biggest movie soundtracks.
I'm not mad at that selection. I wouldn't be mad if I chose D Juice, just because I think about Naughty by Nature, and I can see Tresh doing that. You want to break? We want to
You want to
pass.
pass?
We
You
want to
want to
break.
go?
Hit
You
it,
want
nigga,
to?
and nigga will come back. So like,
Too close to the edge, too.
yeah,
That's
Rock
close to the
Ken,
edge.
close to that.
EPMD got one on there.
I'm gonna go Juice. I'm gonna go Juice, and
All
Pac is in that too.
I love
Another
it.
New York movie.
I love it. The best song dedicated to your moms is it A, Miss Jackson, Outkast, B, Hey Mama, Kanye West, C, All I Got Is You, Ghostface Killer, or D, Dear Mama,
I
Tupac.
think that's easy. Dear Mama.
You gotta say
Dear
that, right?
Mama.
Yeah, you gotta say that.
Every Mother's Day they play Dear Mama. Rest in peace to Pac. Yeah, to me that's an
did.
easy one.
That's a Mother's Day anthem. But Ghostface, I remember feeling emotionally like when I heard All I Got Is You, and then I saw it like
Great record.
that's a great record and great
Great
video.
record.
Yeah.
It's a
I
great
didn't
record.
like to see, but John, he peed the bed.
Classic line. All right. Who is winning in a jailhouse brawl? Is it A, The Brat, B, Remy Ma, C, Young M.A., or D, Foxy Brown?
I think
B.
this is another
I'm going
easy
B,
one.
bro.
Remy Ma.
She was locked up 7 years.
certified.
Yeah, we ain't gonna play. I heard she won
Yeah.
a few too. We ain't even
Remy
playing with
Ma,
her.
that's an easy decision.
Easy.
If you had to erase one from hip hop history, who would it be? A, Queen Latifah, B, MC Light, C, Lauryn Hill, or D, Missy Elliott?
From a music standpoint or a personality standpoint?
See, that's where the game gets interesting. If you erase one, you erase everything that comes with it. What are you willing to give up?
I think that's easy. No disrespect, but
yeah.
MC Light.
I think we're thinking the same thing. Yeah.
MC Light gotta go.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Light though. She's a great host.
Oh, she is amazing.
Yeah.
If you can reinstate one back into hip hop, who would it be? A, Guru, B, Jay Dilla, C, Nate Dogg, or D, Big Pun?
Shout out to all of them, man. I was big fans of all of them. Nate Dogg played a major part in me growing up, but I wish I could bring Pun back. Like, and you never got a chance to really see his full potential. So Pun, I feel like he was one of them ones, man. Who knows what he would have grown into if he was here for another 20 years.
Definitely. I'm gonna go with Pun as well. My other choice would be Jay Dilla, although we can hear his sound throughout the music that is currently being played. But it would be interesting to see from a production standpoint where he would have been. I feel like people became more familiar with him after his passing.
Yeah, Jay Dilla was on his way.
Yeah.
Now, after Invest Fest 2022, I know y'all gonna have a barbecue. I hope I get an invitation to that one. But here's a better question: who do you trust to make the potato salad? Is it A, Rick Ross, since he'll be there? Is it B, Action Bronson, C, Fat Joe, or D, Raekwon the chef?
I'm actually gonna go on a ledge here because potato salad. I don't like potato salad made by anybody that's not black, but Action Bronson does have a cooking show. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, being that he seems he's very interested in culinary. I'm gonna go on a ledge and take potato salad from Action Bronson.
I'm gonna go with Ricky Rose because knowing him and the boss that he is, he's gonna have the top chef make it for us anyway. So I'm taking Ross.
He gonna put it with a side order of his wings too.
I'm gonna get some wings with it, lemon pepper. You know that.
Lemon pepper.
One gotta go, y'all. Who is it? A, J. Cole.
Put this card
B,
down.
Drake. C, Kendrick Lamar, or D, Childish Gambino?
Gambino's out of there.
That's
Stop.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
he shouldn't even be mentioned.
That's ridiculous.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. We love everybody here. This is fun. Unpopular opinions are welcome. Last two. I'm gonna see if y'all gonna finish strong.
Let's do it.
If you had to erase one person from hip hop history,
oh my God,
who would it be? A, Swiss Beats, B, Dr. Dre, C, RZA, or D, Timberland?
This might be the hardest question you've asked.
I don't think I could. Honestly, I can't erase anybody out of that list, man, because they too important. They all too important. You would have to say RZA probably has the lowest impact out of all of them.
What?
I mean, if you look at, because his career didn't
Talk
really
that talk, Bilal. Come on, talk that talk.
Yeah,
and RZA, well, all those other producers became superstars working with other people. RZA never really became a superstar working. He worked with the Wu-Tang Clan. He produced for other people, but I think his best body of work is just the Wu-Tang Clan, where it's like all those other people had camps, but they did stuff outside of those camps. Like Swiss did a lot of stuff outside of Rough Riders. Dre did a lot of stuff outside of just Death Row. So, and Timbaland did a lot of stuff outside of his camp.
Who he do it? Dre ain't do much outside his camp.
Dre?
Outside of his camp? Think about it.
But yeah, I mean,
50?
That's his camp.
Buster.
Buster records.
Buster was signed to him at one
Yeah,
point.
that's what I'm saying. All those guys are on Aftermath.
But all right, but that's still that's like 30 years though. He went from NWA to
yeah, I'm saying his career has been long.
Aftermath. So his career,
he hasn't RZA probably hasn't had the longest production career, but he now does have. I mean, he's doing motion pictures. He's doing the show. I love RZA, man. From 93 to 96, man. You talking about just classics after classics. I don't see too many people. Like Swiss doesn't have a classic album that he put out. No, he doesn't.
It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
That's Grease.
That's Dame Grease. See, a lot of people don't understand history.
You heard what I said, right? You heard what I said.
Yeah, that's Dame Grease.
The best song on the album.
The biggest song is his.
My Dogs Go Shot.
Yeah, he had the biggest song, but Dame Grease produced a lot of that.
Shout out to Dame Grease for sure.
Yeah. I can't get rid of anybody. I can't. RZA me too. If I said that, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it, bro.
See, I didn't think I was gonna have to do this with y'all. I only allow guests to pass once. So if y'all gonna pass once, you got one more card left.
All right.
Do you want to pass or do you want to finish strong?
I'm passing on that one.
I'll pass on that.
Take them all. We need them all. They're too important.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I love these two brothers. I've had a great time with them on the show. Make sure you look out for Invest Fest 2022. They're doing some amazing things. They're teaching us about financial literacy. Yeah, I am stalling because this last one is a doozy.
Oh, boy.
They've done some incredible things. They're going to continue to do. You're going to see Invest Fest for the next 5, 10, 15 years grow and develop into something I don't even think they can imagine. Last one, gentlemen. If you had to erase one person from hip-hop history, who would it be? A, Nas. B, the Notorious B.I.G. C, Tupac. Or D, Jay-Z.
I knew it was going to be a setup. I knew it was going to be a setup.
That's a setup. That's a setup. If you have to erase one person from history, wow, that's tough, man.
All right, Rashad, get your Nate Burleson back on again. What you got?
Well, I'm gonna say this. To me, Tupac has the biggest influence out of any rapper ever. Like everybody has been influenced by Tupac, so you can't erase Tupac.
Okay.
Jay-Z is the most successful. He's the GOAT. He's the most successful person in hip hop history. He's a pioneer, inspiration. You can't erase Jay-Z from hip hop history. So now it becomes Nas and Big. Big legend, legendary legend.
Troy, you smirking over there, Troy. Come on, don't talk.
I already know what you're gonna say, so that's why.
I feel like unfortunately, we only got to have a short period of time with Big. He only had 2 albums, short period of time, probably like a 4-year run. Where Nas is, he's 30 years in the game, like he's Nas, Mount Rushmore status. So it's a difficult decision, but I think hip hop will be affected least by taking Big away from it.
Okay.
Man, I gotta be. That's tough. Jay is that's my guy. Everybody knows that. We're gonna say his name until he's sitting next to us. That's the model. So Jay, that's not even a question. Pac, super inspirational. I remember listening to All Eyes on Me and just being blown away. I remember, even from Digital Underground, just like, who is this guy with them? So I can't take Pac, man. He's too impactful. Nas is the first artist, probably first celebrity that I wanted to be like. Like I'd try to cut my hair like him. I remember having the red disc and just playing it. It's my favorite album of all time. Illmatic's my favorite album of all time. So I love Nas, and Big. I just don't think you can take Big's catalog out of hip hop and it would be the same, right? From that 90, even though he had a short career, obviously because of his untimely death, the music, the impact of that music, it encapsulates a time in hip hop, right? That flashy era. Nas, Illmac's my favorite. It was written, it was incredible, but we did have some down years. So if we had a few down years. Life is Good is incredible, and what he's doing now,
Stillmatic.
Stillmatic was
Stillmatic.
incredible. If we had to remove one, I don't think the world, like New York, might be affected. I don't know if the world would be affected if Nas was on there. So I'm gonna take Nas.
The world's definitely gonna be affected.
That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. I at the same level, like we have to have Pac, obviously Jay, and I think that Big and Puff.
Nas helped put on 50. We on this is 50 right now. He played a major part.
Wait, are we gonna owe 50 for this? Just want to make sure.
You good now, because that might be one of the special guests. You know what I mean? I don't want to get us in trouble. You know what I mean? We're gonna be good. Fellas, let me ask you this. Music is a soundtrack to our lives, and I really appreciate y'all playing this game. It was fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's just hip-hop trivia, man. And the answers are based on age, based on demographic, and based on, taste of music. But for you, and I want to start with you, Troy, because I know how Rashad breaks it down. What song best represents your journey up to this point? Because you still got a lot of life left to live. But what song has influenced you and has been a part of your soundtrack, as music is the soundtrack to our lives? What can you share with us today? That what's that song for you?
Every time this kind of question comes up, I always think of Jay, and the song that sticks with me the most comes from 444. It's Legacy. Just because of his vision, right? Even when Blue starts the record, it's like, Daddy, what's a will? Like having these conversations with our children and making sure they understand that the things that we do now are not for us. That's one of the things Dame taught us. It was like, look, if you hustle for yourself, you're selfish. And so we always hustle for our last name because it'll be bigger than us. And so that's one of the things that sticks to me. And that's why we go so hard, because obviously we got children and we want to make sure that their children are taken care of. And so we grind for our last name every single day. I remember watching my dad work for 44 years and not being able to, understand exactly what he did and not being able to even have a chance to work at his job or being in his career. It was just like, he did all of that and it didn't promise us anything. And so, going into this space, we wanted to make sure, I know for sure, I wanted to make sure that I had something that I could pass down to my kids that they could be proud of and they could choose to be a part of if they wanted to. They could find their own careers, that's fine, but at least they had something else that they could look to. So I think Legacy would be the song of the soundtrack for life right now.
Dope. All right, brother Rashad, what you got for us?
Yeah, it's fitting. We got Nip right there, the Victory Lap LP. So rest in peace to Nip, one of my favorites of all time. I listen to Nip every single day. And Real Big off that album, I just feel like that's just like soundtrack. Like everything he said in that, like who would ever think that we would build this, like Real Big, like, just listening to the lyrics of like, so I was sitting on my link and I was thinking I ain't gonna make 100 mil up in these streets, and like just hearing the words that he was saying on it, like, he had a vision early, like when nobody else was thinking about it. He just in his neighborhood just thinking like, where he was going, and then to actually see it, and then just like who would ever think that this would actually happen. Like that's what I feel like, with our journey is like, always had the vision. And a lot of times people they don't take you serious. They don't think that it can actually happen until it actually does happen, but you got to believe it yourself. And, you just look back on like where you came from. Like I said, like, doing a public access show to, being on stage with Tyler Perry, like, that's in a very short period of time. So I think that definitely is one of the songs that, soundtrack music to life, man. Rest in peace to Nip.
No, definitely. Where can we follow you? Where can we like you? And how can people get more information on Invest Festival 2022 happening in Atlanta next week?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, thank you for having us. This was fun. Anytime that we get to talk about hip hop, that's always enjoyable for us, as you can probably tell. So, This is 50 was actually a website I used to go on years ago, like just for like
every day we was
random random news, like Little
You
Boosie just got
see,
arrested.
that's why I got the plaque right here, just in case.
Yo, we was on that every day.
So shout out to 50, shout out to This Is 50, and shout out to you, man. This was a dope conversation. But yeah, you can check us out on Earn Your Leisure across all social media platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then investfest.com is the website where you can buy tickets. Invest Festival is the Instagram handle. And I see you got the EYL_university. That's our online university educational portal. You can check us out there as well. So Earn Your Leisure across all platforms. InvestFest is August 5th through the 7th in ATL. So we are waiting to see every single body in Atlanta, and a lot of people coming from New York, a lot of people coming from all over. So make it a destination. It's not too late. You can grab your tickets, go to investfest.com, and see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to list them all right there. I got to make sure people know exactly where to find and follow. As you guys are watching and listening, I hope you got a couple of the nuggets. These guys are gemologists because they was dropping gems the whole show. It's never too late to better your credit, and if you don't have it, don't spend it. Is what I got from Rashad and Troy, and also teach our young people the value of money and the power of money. People always say, money is the root of all evil. It is not. The love of money is the root of all evil. Well, what we do with it can, as these both brothers said, change the destination for those who we hustle for, right? The last name on the back of our jersey or on our checkbooks or that's on the mortgage payment. That's who you are hustling for a better tomorrow for our young people. Don't just invest in yourself, invest in the communities around you that allow these young people to grow exponentially. Rashad, Troy, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are just right across the water, it seemed like, from me. Actually, I can't even say the water, across town, because I'm in Westchester as well.
Are you?
So now that I know that you're here,
we got to
probably right across the street. As I'm in Ardsley, you're in Greenberg, but I am part of Greenberg.
Oh, you part of Greenberg then?
Yeah, so we
definitely got to connect. I want to connect with you offline anyway. We could build, and if you're interested in coming on the show, stuff like that. And absolutely. I want to say this too before we leave, because we on his platform. Like 50, one of our biggest motivations, also to see 50. Like I said, we study the music, so to see him from How to Rob and as a street artist, and I had never seen a artist build up such momentum in the streets. His mixtapes going crazy. Like I remember the mixtape when he had the Bulletproof Vest on with Banks and Yayo, and it was like every barbershop, everybody was just talking about G Unit, and to see the moves that he's making outside of music, in the entertainment industry is extremely dope. And I think it's a dope conversation for him to have as far as breaking that down, breaking the business side of it down, because I don't think people have a full appreciation of how he's moving these business deals.
Absolutely.
So 50, we need you.
Curse.
We need you. We got something special for you, man. So
that's a fact.
Yeah, if you're watching this, man, we need you.
Say no more. I'm sorry, here, get the message. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Rashad, Bilal, Troy Billings of Earn Your Leisure. I hope you got something out of it. Like it, love it, share it with somebody else. I'm your host, June Archer, and as I end every time, never leave the opportunity to tell somebody you love them without telling them. It may be the last time you have the opportunity to do so. Troy, Rashad, I love y'all, brothers. Keep doing what y'all doing. Thank y'all so much for locking in with me. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Peace.
Love is love.